contribute also?
It's okay.
Sure.
Good afternoon, bonsoir, bon après-midi. We are going to start our session. It is, we have only 30 minutes. And the objective is to discuss how we engage the WSIS process in Africa. As you know, we started in 2005 WSIS, and now we have over almost 20 years since we adopted WSIS. We have 11 action lines, and now we discuss the progress made by African country during these 20 years, how we are going to think about the future of WSIS given the adoption of the Global Digital Compact. Today, let me start by tell you a little bit how the process has been done in the African continent. How is work this one? I don't know exactly. To do WSIS, it is a policy. And the objective is to make this policy inclusive. All stakeholders should be part on this process. Means we talk about policy and strategy, how we develop our policy and strategy at the national level and at the continental level. Also, we should talk about this infrastructure and connectivity, how we can involve all in the development of the infrastructure and connectivity. It's not only government to do this infrastructure. We need the involvement of the private sector. Why today we are at 38% connectivity at the continental level, but we have some progress since 2005, because 2005 it was at 2.6%. Other issue, it is a cyber security interest. We need to involve all in cyber security. As you know, today, cyber security costs to 10% of the Africa GDP. It is a big challenge for the continent. Why this multi-stakeholder also is very important on cyber security. When we talk about innovation, in the continent, we have 40% of our population will be youth in 2050. We need to promote innovation for our youth to be leader or actor in this fourth industrial revolution around 2050. Other issue we need to do, it is we have several frameworks across the continent. You have this Africa digital transformation. We have a WSIS process. We have the Global Digital Compact. We have also the cyber security model law and AI strategy. We need to have to monitor all this initiative across the continent to know where we are, what are the gaps, what we have to correct, what we have to do. Next. Why on the WSIS process, we have some core thematic. Have you seen in the screen, you have this digital inclusion, how the bridge is digital divide, the infrastructure connectivity, innovation, entrepreneurship, multi-stakeholder governance. You have this African Internet Governance Forum. You have also at the regional level this governance forum, and at the continental level this global internet governance forum where we are today. Next. How we organize this consultation. Since we adopted this WSIS in 2005, there is also a resolution adopted by the UN General Assembly, given mandate for UN Regional Commission to organize the review at the regional level. Why UNECA, United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, organize every year WSIS implementation progress made by African country. And this year we organized the 20 years review in Benin. And it was an evaluation of the 20 years WSIS implementation across the 11 action line in the continent. Also, it is a regional consultation. We have also some national consultation, and we involve government, parliamentarian, academia, private sector, and civil society. And the key outcome of this 20 years discussion, it was the adoption of common position for Africa on WSIS+20. And why today I have pleasure to have several key actor across government, private sector, member of academia, parliamentarian, civil society, to talk about, to give their talk on how the WSIS is progressive and how it processes across their country, also across in the continent. I give 2 minutes to each of you, just to give us your input. I'm going to start by, let me start by the Permanent Secretary of Tanzania. You can come here, I think it's better. Jimson, I will start by you, and the end is better. 2 minutes.
I'm just wondering whether I still have the 2 minutes. I thought walking up to here, those 2 minutes are already done. Thank you so much, presenter. Just wanted to quick talk very little because of the limited time. As you know, you visited Tanzania, and for us, what we did so far is we came up 2 years back. We came up with 10 years national digital strategic framework, and on this, the vision of having this framework is to establish highly advanced digital empowered economy in the country, and it also focuses on, end of the day, is to have the personal government to achieve the digital society. And in that framework, usually we have 6 pillars, which we keep on working on them. For example, we have a pillar which focuses on enabling digital infrastructure. We also have a pillar which does on governance and the enabling environment, digital literacy and the digital skills. And the last pillar deals with digital financial services. Maybe let me chip on to align with the WSIS+20 outcomes framework. How does the digital framework of the 10 years we have for Tanzania, how does it align with the WSIS+20 framework? For example, if you look at pillar number one, it focuses on basic facilitative infrastructure. For example, we have the roads, the railways, and the other infrastructure, the basic facilitative infrastructure. And then on the same pillar, we talked about 2 things that had digital infrastructure. For example, the national backbone, we have the submarine cables and the broadband connectivity. Also on the same pillar, we also talk about the software infrastructure, for example, the digital platform, the software, the application that we've been using. So if you look at the WSIS Action Line C2, on WSIS Action Line C2, which talks about information and the communication infrastructure as an essential foundation for an inclusive society. And if you go further, if you look at the AU Digital Transformation Strategy of the 2020-2030, it has, if you look at the component B of it, which also talks about the digital infrastructure itself. And if you look at the Global Digital Compact Objective number 1, that says closes all digital divides and accelerated progress across sustainable development, and it also aligns with the SDGs. Look at the SDGs number 1, number 8, number 9, and SDG number 11. All those, if you look at our framework, it aligns both on those areas. So let me say, what did we do for Tanzania? What did we address? For example, we already have existence of national ICT broadband, which currently we already constructed almost 13,820 kilometers, covering almost 78% of the country. That coverage is also there. We also went further to connect most of our neighboring countries like Rwanda, Kenya. We also did that. And then if you look at on the broadband, we have a very good coverage here on our country. For example, we have 92% of 3G. And we also have 91% coverage on 4G, and now we are pushing on the 5G, almost we are in with 25% of it. And the focus on this coverage, is to achieve 100% on 4G, 5G by 2030.
Thank you very much. Well done, Tanzania. Thank you
so much. Thank you.
It is a very good example. Let me call upon Honorable Ajara for Benin. Benin also this Africa WSIS+20. To come up to give some highlight from Benin and also on the declaration adopted in April, in May. Honorable, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Okay, what to say? Only 2 minutes. Let me start. Thank you for this important question. Ensuring accountability across government, civil society, the private sector, and other stakeholders is a cornerstone of the Cotonou Declaration. Several mechanisms are proposed to make this a reality. We can no more state all the mechanisms, just some of them. An African Digital Performance Index. This annual index will measure progress in key areas such as broadband connectivity, digital skills, AI adoption, cybersecurity, and inclusion. It will provide a transparent benchmark for government and stakeholders, a high level, and at the second place mechanism, we will go to the standardized data collection. I'm very sorry, but strengthening national and regional data system will ensure evidence-based policy making. Leveraging platforms like the ITU's WSIS+20 review tools will help harmonize reporting and monitoring across countries. The declaration calls for explicit allocation of responsibility among actors, not only to implement digital strategies, but also to report, evaluate, and improve them.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think you have you can see some highlight on this declaration. Thank you very much also for hosting this WSIS+20 Africa. I call upon my friend Jimson to get the view from private sector. I give him 1 minute.
I have to shorten my trip here so that I can make it right on time. My name is Jimson Olufuye. Good afternoon, everybody. I really want to first start by commending UNECA. They are fulfilling their mandate, actually. They've never failed to do WSIS review, and they always brought us in, private sector, the civil society, academic and technical community, even the youth. So at the top level, WSIS review, excellent. But the challenge is at the national level. So we need to have WSIS review at the national level. I think 2 weeks ago, South Africa had a WSIS review, which is commendable. And we want to encourage other countries in Africa to have their reviews. An important part of WSIS review is so that we can fulfill the Sustainable Development Goal. We can achieve it by 2030. But if we cannot measure this progress, how can we know when we will attain it? So that is why we need to have the review so that we can measure the progress and also bring in the Sustainable Development Goal offices in our countries. Because you cannot be saying you want to target SDG and you don't have the SDG office with you. They must be with you. They must be inclusive. Everybody must be part of it. And Net Mundia plus 10 principle must be adopted. If you don't know it, please Google it and let it be part of our working framework. Going forward, let's do review regularly and annually. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Maka. Thank you.
Well done. Yes. Let me call upon Palesa to get a view from South Africa. 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. I think for me, I'm not going to talk about what we've done in South Africa, but I'm going to focus on post the consultation, because we consult and consult and consult. But then what happens? And then we go back to the people to consult. So my take is that once we've consulted, those priority areas, we need to implement them in collaboration. You know, because for me, what that would do is that it will ensure inclusivity, accountability, and transparency. And also to give, to establish frameworks, you know, these multi-stakeholder frameworks, and give them legitimacy. You know, where they have guidelines to say who gets to be engaged when and how. and the processes. And I think also feedback is important. And my take is that once you have these structures, these multi-stakeholder structures, then from beginning to end, you are engaging people, you work in collaboration. It's not just one silo, and then after 10 years, we go back and say, hey, this is what we've done, and this is what we've done. And also, I think, this engagement needs to go at the local level, because it's not about us who come here. The reason why we are here is about the people we've left behind. And yet, their voices are not heard. How do we begin, especially governments, how do they begin to foster that, to ensure that, communication is at local level? And also, the other thing is to say that how do we feedback? Because not everybody is going to be part of the structure that I'm talking about. These structures, the multi-stakeholder engagement structures that I think are important, and I suppose going forward in the WSIS review, it's something that we would have to look at. How do we feedback? How do people feedback who are not part of the structures? We need to have those online platforms to say that everybody has a voice, and you can go to this platform and make your voice heard. So is my time up?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Let me get a view from academia. Dr. Christian, is it here?
No. Oh, you are the one. Okay, take.
Christian is not here.
I'm here.
Baratang. Yeah. I'm happy if somebody
Thank you. Yes.
2 minutes.
I'm Christian from the DR Congo. And on the academic stage, strategic contribution is the evidence-based policy formulation. African universities can establish digitally policy research hub to translate WSIS principle into actionable frameworks aligned with the Global Digital Compact. This includes conducting localized studies on connectivity gaps and evaluating emerging technology like AI through ethical and development lens. For example, the Cotonou Declaration specifically calls for the contextually ground innovation trajectory. On the other hand, the capacity building and the future-ready skills. Academia should lead in developing modular digital literacy, curricula targeting persistent skill gaps. As you know, in Africa, 45% of Africans lack basic digital skills, according to ECA. Another one is innovation translation and living labs. So university can serve as innovation intermediary by establish test-bed environmental for community-focused solution. Example, including incubating social solidarity economy models. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well done. Let me get view from gender perspective. Baratang, please. Thank you. You did well.
Thank you, Makta. You're going to give me 2 minutes. I want 3. We know women are always silenced, so I need 3.
You have 1 minute now.
Okay, I'm just going to push what the African Women in Digital Policy Network have been pushing for, which is a gender-responsive revision of WSIS Action Line number 7. And for them, what they're saying, which is like I think what most women, we are agreeing with that, is that there should be gender audits for tech policies to make sure that, like Sis Palisa said, there is that follow-up. You can't come up with a policy and not follow up of whether these gender achievements are being made. And there was this broad policy frameworks that were discussed, and they went specific into how gender is going to be balanced and achieved. The second part of it is that they are talking about quotas for women-led SMMEs. The most growing thing in the tech space is entrepreneurship and business. And at the moment, we only have 2% of funding going to women. That is not acceptable. And that can be addressed at policy level as a framework. And what they're saying is that the quotas for women-led tech entrepreneurs, we should allocate 30% of national AI and DPI funding to women entrepreneurs. I know that's a big statement, but in South Africa, it is achieved. guys, South Africa is getting in trouble for saying 30% of the business you're doing should be allocated to black people. And it's because we are addressing the past of our country. So at global level, if we were to address gender issues, we need to address issues by specific quotas and say, I used to be afraid when people say to me, you are put there because you're a black person. You know what I do nowadays? If somebody says, you are there because Magda likes you or you are black, I like it. Because he used some form of a measurement, he audited, and he put a person that's relevant for that position. So I think we should start being proud of saying, and being accurate as women, saying we need that 30%, we need audits, we need to hold our governments accountable, and that should come through the framework of WSIS.
Thank you very much. Gender issue is very important for inclusion for this WSIS process and also this ICT policy development. Now we talk about WSIS. We have several frameworks across the world. The last one, it is a global digital compact. Now the discussion is how to align the global digital compact and WSIS. I'm going to give the floor to my colleague from UN Emerging Technology Office, Filippo, for 2 minutes. Yeah, come. 1 minute, 2 minutes.
I'll start the timer. Merci beaucoup, Makhtar. I've been asked to bring the international perspective, so I'm gonna do what Italians do best. Move my hands a lot and talk in very abstract terms. We need to move, both in WSIS and in the Global Digital Compact, from correlation to causation. That is, we need to implement what has not been implemented in the WSIS framework, and I'm thinking about connectivity. Because connectivity, yes, we did a huge leap forward in terms of how many people are connected, but we need to work not only on the supply side, but on the demand side. In a lot of parts of the world, including Africa, people are not connected, not because the territories are not covered by 3G or by other connectivity or by cable, but because it costs too much and people don't have the demand side to access connectivity. So this is my first of 3 points. First, implement the WSIS agenda on digital skills, on connectivity. Point number 2, we have the Global Digital Compact. The Global Digital Compact covers a lot of areas that are super relevant for the African continent, for the entire world. Artificial intelligence, data governance and how to redistribute the value of data where it's created, digital public infrastructure, digital public goods. We have that framework, let's implement it. We don't have to renegotiate what's already been agreed under the leadership of Zambia and of Sweden. Last point, IGF, NRIs, National Regional Initiatives have been mentioned, and I was delighted to be virtually in Cotonou at the last meeting. Use that to implement some of the objectives of the Global Digital Compact and of WSIS, and rely on the stakeholders in your own countries. That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Filippo. Now let's open the floor. 1 minute for the audience. If you want the floor, quickly, 1 minute. You want the...
I'll just pick up on what Jimson was saying. We really need to have on the level of the countries a review of the WSIS+20 and then share challenges, share best practices. It is very important for us to learn from each other. We should not recreate the wheel, and we should not just learn from the north. We need to learn from the south, the good experience, and to implement it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Another one. Adil, you don't want to say something?
Okay, so thank you very much, my friend Makta. Basically, this is Adil from the African Union Commission. Yeah, I want to talk about some continental initiatives.
No, you have 1 minute.
Towards the implementation of WSIS. There is the African Digital Compact, which was approved recently. Out of it, this year we are going to develop some projects with our international partner to implement. AI strategy, also, we developed an AI strategy. PRIDA, Policy and Regulation Initiative for Digital Africa, it has IG component. We will continue helping countries in terms of IG training and also creating IG processes in the countries. And I think finally I want to speak about the process, how we're going to end the WSIS process. We are going to formalize the process through our ministerial committee meeting
so that it has more acceptance, more approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adil. Mary.
And thank you very much for calling me, although I came in late. But the truth is that we just have to convince our multi-stakeholders within our continent that it is important that the mandate of the IGF is renewed. So it is left for you, when you get back to your country, to do, if you want to do a prep, do a prep. It might not be, physical. You can do online prep. That's what we are thinking about in Nigeria, for instance. Can we do an online prep in such a way that we get our ministers that will negotiate, our ambassadors that will negotiate this process to understand that it is key that the mandate of the IGF be renewed, even permanently. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Elijah Mo, as chair of Zimbabwe, 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much, Martha and Dr. Sek, and thank you very much, everybody, for coming today to listening to the WSIS process that we have in Africa. And I think the collaboration we've seen that is being done, and I think you've heard what Tanzania has done. You've heard what other countries like Nigeria, etc. So I think the more we share what we do, the better for all of us. Because they see the collaboration that we need to do as an African continent, because we know there are basics that actually is an issue, and that is connectivity and infrastructure. So the moment we share more and more, I think that's going to help us a lot to ensure that we understand some of the issues that are experienced by Tanzania or by Rwanda or the Gambia. Then we can build on that. So thank you very much for coming and for sharing what you have done.
Thank you, thank you. Come, quickly. Where is Toko? Is around? Toko?
Hello, Max Smero from Tanzania. While I appreciate what our governments in Africa are doing, there's a lot that is being done by big tech, targeting our continent, especially Africa, be it whomever you may mention. Let's think local. Let's strategically collaborate. Let's not have fears about AI. Let's work together. Let's innovate together, support local innovations, and make sure that you work with them and you do not discourage them from doing innovations.
Wisdom. Thank you. The last one, eh?
Thank you very much. My name is Wisdom Donko, and the Executive Director for Ghana Domain Name Registry. So all that I would say is that we shouldn't forget the fact that everything we talk about cybersecurity passes through the DNS. So let's make sure we make the DNS very resilient in Africa and also introduce more exchange points.
Thank you very much. I want to have a perspective from you. Come quickly. Go. No, he has to finish. We have 1 minute. 1 minute.
Thank you very much. My name is Luvo Gray from the South African Internet Governance Forum and the chairperson of the Youth Internet Governance Forum. So, colleagues, we, as a continent, we need about $100 billion in order for us to close the digital divide in the continent. So, as we review the WSIS+20, let us think of ways of how do we collaborate as a bloc in order for us to be able to connect the next 1 billion by 2030. How does South Africa, how does Tanzania, how does Gambia, how does Zimbabwe, how do we sit in one room and figure out how do we raise this $100 billion? And I think the discussion starts here. Let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have to raise $100 million for the infrastructure gap. It's very important. But you should know also this digital economy can create 230 million jobs by 2030. And it is possible for Africa to get it. If you work together, if we develop harmonized policy, if we build the capacity, digital skills for the youth generation, if we make sure we protect our digital era. Also, this collaboration is key. We have to work all together. Government, private sector, civil society, academia, and also we need to involve all parts of the continent. people with disability, youth, women, and all should be inclusive this digital technology if you want Africa to be leader in the fourth industrial revolution. Because why we can be leader? Because we have our youth generation. This digital dividend is very important for Africa. At the beginning, I say by 2050, 42% of the world population should be, 42% of the youth population should be Africa. And we have this opportunity, we have to take it, and we have the knowledge, we have very smart youth generation, and we can take opportunity of that. Thank you very much for that. Let's have a family picture. Where is the photograph? Tomorrow we have a session also. We'll invite you.